Well, good afternoon, Wiggle Air Nation. This is Keith, and I'm back for another day. Just completed a short walk outside. First time I've done that in a long, long time. In fact, it's the first time I've ever walked in my neighborhood. And it felt really good. I only had to take one break, but I needed to take a break, it turned out. I was getting low on my oxygen, but I didn't feel bad. But I found a shady spot in the middle and took advantage of it, and found out my oxygen was only at 86, which is not good. They tell me below 88 is organ failure, so we don't want that. We want to keep it above 88 no matter what. I fell to 86. I'm likely about 86 at the moment, but it feels good to get outdoors. And I just haven't gotten around to checking my oxygen. It's not going to make a difference anyway, because here I am. I'm sitting at my own house in the shade, enjoying the day as it is, and it's wonderful. I'm excited to have made the walk. And so anyway, I've been working on my diet. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I wanted to talk specifically about the way I felt before I began the diet. And this is after I had beaten most of the depression that I was suffering with. Actually, the depression was probably just as debilitating as anything. But before I started the diet, I had come to, I think I mentioned yesterday that I'm the superintendent, and I'm not the owner of this body. I'm not the architect who's building my life, but I am the superintendent, and I'm supposed to follow, the plan. The plan is laid out by the Lord Jesus, and we're all supposed to do certain things, like do what is right. You gotta love God and love your neighbor. There you go. That's the plan. Do it right. Do it to the best of your ability. And so I realized that God was in me just like He's in every person. We're all made in the image of God. And I knew I had to take responsibility and get up and do something. So I had a doctor appointment, and I found out I weighed 282 pounds, and I'd made up my mind, if I could just lose enough weight to get back to like I was when I was just out of high school, well, that's 20 or 25% less oxygen than I would need to keep going. So for me, it makes sense to lose weight. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people who have COPD and emphysema and that kind of thing, that losing muscle is bad, and they have a hard enough time keeping up, the weight. I, on the other hand, I don't have that problem. I'm not that far gone. For me, I need to find a lighter weight that I can maintain easily, which I've already determined is going to be around 230 to 240 pounds, right in there. And I need to eat right. That's actually probably the most important thing. Losing weight was my first goal, but then I realized after going into this and learning about it that cutting out sugar and starch from my diet began to make my arthritis feel better and my thinking cleared up. And I realized I was suffering from poor diet along with all this stuff. So I went to ChatGPT, and I cannot stress enough how valuable that tool has been. I described who I am, my age, my sex, my health issues, the whole thing. I give it a profile of who I am. It was hard on part of it because, like I said, my other lung doctor never even told me they didn't tell me enough. They just didn't tell me anything. Kind of frustrating, but anyway. I found all this stuff out. Told it to ChatGPT, and I told it I needed to lose weight, and it told me, okay, in order to do it safely, you need to do it this, that, and the other way. And I said, well, I'm really interested in the carnivore diet. I said, but I can't do complete carnivore because my wife and I enjoy eating meals together, and she's diabetic, and we like to share meals together. And so we modified it to kind of a keto carbohydrate, very slim carbohydrates. So I still think I don't keep like super strict tabs, but I believe I'm under 35 carbs a day, which is very, very small amount compared to most people. And I do feel a lot better. I'm losing weight. I cannot deny it. I'm losing about a pound and a half, maybe a week, which is a good safe amount. It's steady. It's just wonderful, and I'm weighing at the same time at the same scale every week. So, I mean, it's good. And so my goal at Wingo Air and for Wingo Nation, Air Nation, is to want to be supportive of anybody who and I know that everybody with COPD is having the same struggles that I am, if not more. And controlling your weight, it contributes greatly to the way your body feels, even aside from I'm experiencing lower congestion, lower inflammation. My breathing is clearer than it was. I think this is due to lower carbohydrates, to cutting up. I have cut sugar out of my diet. I don't eat sugar anymore. The only things, the biggest part of my diet that's got a lot of carbohydrates in it is probably the lemonade I drink. And I drink lemonade sweetened with pure stevia extract. And you got to watch out when you look at stevia, because a lot of these manufacturers, people want to cook with a sugar alternative. So the manufacturers will mix the stevia extract in with some other stuff, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But you can measure it out like regular sugar, and you can cook with it just 1 for 1 straight across, and it tastes good, and it's all great. But it's not conducive to your gut health. Plus, it's a lot more expensive. I bought, I think it's an 8-ounce package of stevia. It might be 1 pound, but anyway, it was $20, which sounds like a lot. I've barely hit it, man. Every time I use 1 teaspoon for a gallon of iced tea, and I use 1 teaspoon for a gallon of lemonade. I go through 2 gallons each a week, and that's it. And then I drink water and I drink coffee other than that. So, the lemonade is probably the biggest, because lemonade has 6 grams of carbohydrates per cup of lemon juice, and I use 2 cups to make a gallon. But here's my recipe: 2 cups of lemon juice, and fill the rest of the jug up with water. Put in 1 teaspoon of stevia extract and shake it up. Done. And you know what? It's actually pretty good, I gotta say. Same with the iced tea. I get the bags. They say 1 gallon tea bags is Lipton, and I run it through the coffee pot. We have one of those Ninja coffee pots. And it gives you, I think it's a 64-ounce setting, and I just run a whole pot through on 1 bag of the 1 gallon tea bags, and then I pour it in. I let it run through, and then I pour it into the jug, and I put in a teaspoon of stevia extract, and then fill the jug up. Done. It's that easy. It's really easy. And both of these, I gotta say, it's pretty cheap. What am I spending for a gallon? Maybe 50 cents. I don't know, but not much. And so I'm not drinking any carbonated drinks. And also, I'm fortunate I'm thankful for this, that I don't have any other. I'm not on any other medications. My blood sugar's good. My cholesterol's good. I was in generally pretty good health, other than this mess before it all came on. So in that respect, it's good. The the arthritis. Um, I was in drywall for 40 some odd years. If you know about sheetrock, well, it is what it is. It's very hard on the back, very hard on your joints, your shoulders, and all that. I mean, my body hurts, but it's getting better. I find that I eat right, the pain goes down. Plus, say it hurts when I get up. Uh, Start moving, pain goes away right away. Used to, it wouldn't. It would. Oh my goodness, it would take. I was eating ibuprofen or Tylenol, like I was popping them like chiclets, like candy. I was just eating too much of that stuff. I don't eat any of it now. I don't even take. I might. I might take those little like Benadryl pills. I might take 2 of those once a month for allergy purposes. But other than that, I don't take any. I don't use any drugs. I don't take any prescriptions. I don't take any over-the-counter medicines. I mean, if they tell me to, I will. But I don't need it. I'm in good shape, other than the COPD, which is debilitating. So, what I would like to see, because I know how it feels, if I know how it feels, because you begin to feel like your life is over. It's not. But you have to find a cause that you believe in, and maybe something entirely unrelated to COPD. I don't know, but I realized to myself that this is where I belong. This is what I'm here for, and I want to be here for you. I need to be here for you. I need to be here for people who don't know what to do. Do you know? Because I didn't get any. My wife was kind and supportive, but the burden on her just increased dramatically, and she has taken it like a trooper, so well. But it's hard on her, and I know, and y'all are going through the same thing in your own lives. And like I was I was a drywall contractor. I can't even mow the lawn. I can't do anything now. But I realized that I have value. I have worth. I have purpose. We need to stick together. We need to hang together. We need to get our own resources together. It's hard to go anywhere because you got to lug around these stupid oxygen bottles. Or if you're fortunate enough to have one of those electric ones, electric concentrator, you're lugging around batteries. Well, you know what I think they need at sporting events, at anywhere, shopping malls, churches, wherever people gather. There needs to be charging stations for the batteries, and maybe rentals for the portable machines. Run them out for an hour or 2 at a time, something like that, because they're just so expensive. And like I can't. There's so many places I can't go because I just don't have the resources. I can't do it. And I could if there was a way to breathe when I got there. And that's what we need. I think that's an idea. I think it's $1 billion idea. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's $1 billion idea. Somebody's going to do it sometime. And anyway, we need that. There's who knows what else we need. We also need to be able to recognize each other in public. The other day, one of the thrift stores here in town, they leased out new space across the street from their old space, but it happens to be across one of the busiest streets in town. And I think it finally occurred to them that they're going to have to move all their inventory across the street. It's only a few hundred yards, but it's going to cost just as much to move 100 yards as it's going to cost to move 10 miles. by the time you wait for stoplights and everything, it's just going to be ridiculous. So what they did on the very last day there, they had to be out of the store. They put everything on sale for $1. And so, yeah, of course, we went down there because $1, what are you going to go, everything in the store, $1. Well, you're going to go do it, right? And so we did. And I hauled 2 oxygen tanks down there with me, and I don't like to go through the oxygen because, it takes so much. I have an electric one that's powered at home, but to go out and about, I get 4 bottles a week, and then 2 on backup, and I can go through 4 bottles. I go through 2 bottles just going to therapy. So, and I'm using up one right now because I wanted to make a video outside and go for a walk. And long story short, it was worth it. And anyway, I met a guy in there that I met him at therapy that very morning, and we said, "Hey," I recognized him, but only because I'm pushing around this walker that I showed you, and I just happened to recognize him, and he recognized me. We saw each other, and we had a nice little conversation. Do you know how long it's been since I've had a conversation with somebody I met out in public? I mean, how much I missed it. I'm sure he had felt the same way. And we need ways to figure out how to recognize each other in public, and our families and caregivers. They all need to stick together. We need to hang together. We need to be a group. So that's why I started Air Nation. Air Nation is the group, people. We're all Air Nation. Anyhow, that's what I had to say for today. I want to upload the video, and I'm looking forward to see y'all again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.